Evening, freaks. I'm here to give you a read straight from the hip with lots of lip. And we are coming in for the home stretch of that BROADscope 2023 prediction series, ending off with Scorpio collective, Scorpio Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, North Node, Mercury, Mars, or a loaded eighth house stellium, 3 or more planets in that house, or a strong placement like the ones mentioned before. You might find resonance with this message. This is a collective message, so there is a lot of different energies that come into play. Cross-watcher energy can come into the mix. Tune into the energies, take on what feels like it's your story, what doesn't apply, toss it aside. Let your intuition be the guide first and foremost, and tune into how these energies are speaking to you. I find it's helpful if you tune into the overarching themes, and that can really be like a guidepost for you in understanding how the message is communicating with you on your particular path. I also do want to say that sometimes activation can come up. In particular, if I'm picking up on a cross-watcher energy, there can be role reversal. Use it as an opportunity to understand how you can use this insight to your advantage. Maybe you need to alter your stance in dealing with this person, try a new approach. Maybe they feel a lot more like you than you realize, if you have that kind of role reversal experience. So try not to get too attached to it, but just use it as a tool to understand what's coming up for you inside internally. And that can really help you transmute that energy and use it in a beneficial way in the situation. I am going to call out the signs when they're called out. If there's any strong placement in the chart, I only call out the signs when they come out in the court cards, or if a court card that's already been on the board is reinforced by a major arcana. I'm not going to flood you with zodiac signs, okay? But I do bring them in because I know a lot of people appreciate them. That being said, please do make sure that you, don't get too attached to that, okay? Switch roles as you need to. You know who it's talking about. Tune in, trust your judgment, and let's just dive in and enjoy this time for exploration and working with these energies. We're going to work with a zodiac layout, okay? We're going to look at the zodiac wheel chart and those 12 houses and how they influence those different areas of life that they're in charge of. And this is going to give a comprehensive view for what's coming in for you for 2023. We'll also do a really nice overarching theme card to just sort of hold the energy down for the whole year. So you have kind of a theme, a central focus you can tune your energy into for the year. And that will kind of set the tone, set the template for moving ahead. We are in Mercury retrograde, all right? So any glitches that come up, any slips that come up, just be patient. We're all muddling through. Communication is front and center. This is going to be in Capricorn, though, and it came in with Mercury conjunct Venus, which is a really positive, helpful aspect. It helps us find the way through in communications. It helps us temper our reactiveness. It helps us get to the heart of the matter, reach a place of understanding. This can kind of smooth things over. So it's a very beneficial energy. And with this particular Mercury retrograde, beginning in Capricorn, ending in Capricorn on January 18th, of course, we are going to have the post shadow, which usually lasts a couple weeks. So we're looking at not really being out of this energy until we're in Aquarius season. So it is a time for review. We also have that Mars is still in retrograde as well. So please, no impetuous actions. Not the best time for impetuous actions. And I am going to put in timestamp. I am going to shuffle on the camera. I like to do that. This is pre-recorded, okay? I do pre-records when I want to be able to just kind of like flow with energy, not have to worry about manning live chat. I've been in this more kind of internalized space with it, and so I'm just respecting that. When I do a live, I always announce it as a special live event, okay? And there will be a lot more of those coming in, particularly with the late night talk and tarot in 2023. As well as some really fun, innovative stuff. So be looking for that. I'm really excited to usher in the new year with some new flavor on the channel. I also want to say to all of you who have been here with me since the start, thank you for riding out my first year on YouTube with me. I so appreciate your support. I so appreciate all your comments, all the thumbs up you give on the videos, the way you share the videos and you join in the experience in the comments really means a lot to me. Also, I so appreciate the subscriptions. All of that helps to get these messages out to a wider audience. You're very much part of building this with me. And I just want to say I appreciate you. And thank you to all the new subscribers. And if what you get here, you know, if it benefits you, if it resonates with you, if you get something from this experience, I greatly appreciate if you did think of, you know, subscribing to the channel and being part of what's coming in and building that new energy. I really want to form community here. We're going to be doing a lot of cool stuff. So thank you so much. We're going to dive into the shuffling of the cards now. 6:11 on the clock. I'm trying to call out the timestamp so when I drop in and watch the replay with you all and engage with you in the comments, because I will be live in the comments. So there's still that live interaction in the chat, in the live chat. It will allow me to easily write down the timestamp. So as soon as it's done airing, I can get those timestamps up for you real fast. So if you don't want to go through the whole shuffling process, you can skip that, okay? You can skip it and you can jump ahead to the reading section. You will miss out on some channeled messages though, so I just want to let you know that. I want to begin with a channeled message that I got for you, Scorpio, that came in. And this was around an aspect of Scorpio that most people don't consider. You know, people have certain perception of Scorpio. They think of Scorpio as being more of a very secretive, but also kind of, you know, let's be honest, they consider it kind of a sinister energy. This is the stereotype, like a Scorpio is always ready to sting you, a Scorpio is always out for revenge, a Scorpio is always up to something that is suspect. You know, there's just sort of this edgy vibe with Scorpios, and it's certainly part of their makeup. I mean, we can't deny that with Pluto as a ruler. It definitely comes in, as well as that shared ruler with Aries, Mars, okay? This is very significant. To bring Aries into the mix, you may very well be dealing on some level with Aries. You also may really be feeling this Mars retrograde that's going on. You may be finding it's challenging for you to kind of like hold yourself back, rein yourself in. There may be times when you're wanting to blurt something out. There may be times that you are wanting to pull out that stinger to make a point. There may be times when you're feeling combative. The combativeness is actually related to being in a very defensive posturing. Yeah, there's just this energy is kind of front and center, but there's something to be mindful in regard to this. And what came in for me is that you really need to do a lot of internal cleansing at this time of the energy body. And I feel like this has to do with the medium of water, working with your medium of water to do this cleansing. Now, of course, we think of spiritual baths, and you can certainly do that. That is one way to do cleansing. And for that, it's very simple. 2 cups baking soda, 2 cups Epsom salt. From there, use your own intuition as a guide. What kind of herbs are you drawn to? And go ahead and let yourself like do some research. Just look up the metaphysical associations of these herbs, and you'll find that what you're naturally drawn to with your intuition. And Scorpio, you're so sensitive energetically as it is anyway. You know, you're gonna know where you're gravitating toward on a very energetic level when it comes to what herb allies, what plant allies, what flower allies, what crystal allies you want to bring into that bathing experience where you're doing like a purification bath, just kind of clearing your energy body of any hitchhiker energy. And this is the part that a lot of people don't recognize about Scorpio. They only think of this kind of sharp-edged side of Scorpio, but there's the other side of Scorpio that is very sensitive, really able to pick up the energy in their environment, absorb it like a sponge. And because they're so sensitive to those like deeper undercurrents, they can really tune into people's motivations, their hidden motivations. And so this can sometimes make a Scorpio appear like they're moving out of pocket, but they're really not. It's just they're understanding a deeper layer of the communication of what's going down in their environment. They are able to spot things that other people don't notice because they're very focused on the more subtle things. Think about it. Scorpios by nature, they're close to the ground, right? They're close to the ground. So they can feel the vibrations of what's coming in before it arrives. They have to be tuned into these more subtle undercurrents. Now, in that sensitivity, there can be a tendency, if you're not regularly focusing on cleansing your energy body of these, parasitic energies, vampiric energies, hitchhiker energies, or geez, just even like ambient intensity, that's from being around crowds of people. Sometimes being around crowds of people can be almost overload for a Scorpio. They might need more time to kind of have privacy, private time to sort of cleanse out the energy body. And I do feel like this is something that's really coming in for you in 2023. Okay. And a good way to set yourself up to step into 2023, since I think you'll be working with this a lot during that first month in January, just to prepare for everything that's going to be coming down the pike as you move further into the new year. I think that the water is it's a conductor for one thing, but it's also your element. So it's working with your medium, and there's some peace in this. So by all means, do your spiritual cleansing baths and make them rituals of your own in alignment with your own spiritual traditions, whatever speaks to you. You can work with different psalms, different prayers in the bath. You can work with different affirmations. You can make up your own incantations, work with that. There's no rules, okay? It's about what speaks to your souls, your spirit lands you in your heart. Use that as a guide. But this cleansing is very important. You can also work with the element of water in the form of steam inhalations, boiling up a pot of water, pouring it in a nice big bowl, maybe putting some rosemary in there to create like a cleansing, purifying space that also makes it very safe to open up in the heart center, and it helps to clear the lungs when you tent your head with a towel and just do some deep breathing with that steam, that herbal infused steam. You could use like lemon verbena too. This is also very nice. Explore, make sure anything you're doing with steam inhalations that you do research, do your own research. Also, clear anything with your physician if you have any questions about it, if you have any health conditions you're dealing with, and in particular, anything related to like high blood pressure, or if you're pregnant, you might want to double check with your physician, but it's pretty easy to go out and research what are safe, safe herbs to do steam inhalations with in this way. And it can be very, very clearing for the lung passageways. And this is significant because we can get a lot of old grief stuck in our lungs. I feel like this also needs to come up and out of you. It's just sort of like the last tail end of it. You have a little bit of like this congested energy in your body, and it needs to actually be released through the physical. So it can come up and out. So when you do these steam inhalations, you may notice that you have like a lot of coughing up of mucus. This is good. This is very productive because it's breaking up ama, that which is undigested. And in the case of the lungs, we're looking at undigested grief, these experiences that you haven't fully assimilated. They can kind of have a tethering effect on you. It can keep you attached back, in that past and all the heavy processing that you've been doing because, hey, you've been South Node. You continue to hold the South Node, okay, all through the first half of 2023. So we're still in it. We're not done yet. We are at the tail end of that shadow work. We're at the tail end of stepping out of that into that destiny of the Taurus North Node and understanding our worth and value. So please, give yourself the grace and the space to create these containers for these experiences so you can cleanse this energy out. Steam inhalations are wonderful. Going and being near a body of water for a place of self-reflection, meditation, or to do any kind of release rituals where you release biodegradable things, please, like plants or flowers, are nice offerings. Leaves make wonderful offerings to the water. You can also offer up like white roses to the ocean. That is a beautiful offering for the Orisha Yemaya. Okay, so there's a very mothering energy, very much about surrender. Okay, so I speak to people from all different traditions here. Please work within your own ancestral lineage or just where you feel really connected spiritually in creating your own traditions. There's no rules. There's basic structures to rituals. Ground yourself out, make sure you're centered, cleanse yourself of your intention, make sure that, you ask your higher consciousness, spirit, God, however you want to view it, to just cleanse you of any kind of egoic motivations, to help purify you of anything that could get in the way of an effective release ritual. And just hold it with loving space and dignity. There's something about creating this sense of reverence around this pain that you've been processing and rising out of and transforming and alchemizing all through the past year, and you felt it very strongly because you've been holding down that South Node, right? And you're in the process of rising up out of that, discovering your worth, your value, what you bring to the table, what you're not willing to compromise. It's every bit as important for you as it is for the rest of the collective. And you have more, you have more you need to kind of clear because you've been holding down the fort. It's a lot to hold down with Pluto, and what's been going on with Mars, this kind of like love war mix, the dichotomy, the push-pull dynamic of the Mars-Venus opposition that's been doing its dance all throughout 2022. Okay, so give yourself that space, that grace. There's also the piece of like blessing up your water. Emoto, he did all these studies with water where if you connect the water to certain words, that it can create different kind of crystal structures within the water, and that there's definitely an effect on the water because the water is a conductor. It also shows the power of our thoughts and how thoughts are things. It's all just like this energy current, right? So you can do that as simply as, they have them too, water bottle stickers where they have different words that you can put on your water. You can even just hold your water. You can do a warm up of your hands, clap your hands together, really warm your palms while you think of your intention, what you want to infuse that water with. Get them nice and hot. Call that fire forward. A little bit of your fiery Mars energy, okay? And then you hold your container, your glass, your water bottle, close your eyes, and just infuse the water with your intention. And use this to drink, to purify yourself, okay? If you're fortunate enough to find yourself in a rainstorm, go out. Let the rain cleanse you. It's one of the best purifications to just open yourself to the heavens raining down upon you, washing you clear, washing your way clear, okay? This came in very strongly for you. It's interesting because bottom of the deck energy, before we even get to shuffling, we have the 9 of Swords here, okay? And there's this lion that's kind of hanging out, pursuing her. She's looking over her shoulder. She's concerned. She's worried. 9 of Swords is very much about being up in the head. It's about kind of being haunted by things that you have fear around. There's a certain kind of fear. There's this feeling sometimes maybe of even feeling a bit like prey. You might at sometimes wonder, if you have let somebody kind of jump into your space. There might be times when you wonder, like, is this my energy? Is this somebody else's energy? You might not even be feeling your anxiety. At times you may be picking up on somebody else's anxiety. You've just been too permeable. You haven't had solid boundaries. It's very important for you to work on having your boundaries. Envision an orb of light surrounding your whole body. Make it as big as you want to make it. You can work with grounding techniques, like just merging your root with the roots of a tree and just really anchoring into the core of the earth and drinking up that earth energy to fill your body and ground you out. Work with different methods. Change your shield every day. Maybe one day you want to have like a fuzzy, a little like fuzzy wuzzy shield around you that's soft and kind of bouncy, where any energies that aren't yours that try to kind of penetrate into your auric field, just like boom, bounce off softly. Play with it, experiment with it, tune into your intuition. These pieces are very important because I feel like you've taken on a lot of energy that's not yours and it's kind of throwing you off. You need some clarity. This will help you just feel clearer, especially at nighttime. You'll be able to sleep. You'll be able to get better rest. You'll feel more centered. And I think you'll be able to feel just more clear-minded, able to really see things clearly. It was 2020 on the clock when I said that. So you'll get more clear visions. Might be kind of disrupting your intuitive perceptions in terms of just how it's affecting the third eye chakra, ajna. So this is very beneficial. So I'm getting a big like clearing, cleansing, releasing the fear. And the way you release the fear about the past is, by officially kind of like drawing a line under it and saying, okay, that was then. And I've held space for this, but I'm ready to release this energy now. And I'm ready to step into that fear of the unknown where anything can happen. And I don't know what's going to come up, but I'm willing to trust. And I'm willing to move forward in a new way where I don't have to drag all this old stuff behind me. It's only going to weigh me down from where I'm going. And where I'm going, I'm on the rise. I'm rising into that Taurus North node. Okay. So we're going to dive into the shuffling now. It's going to take me probably about 5 minutes. I'll have some messages that kind of filter in as I'm shuffling. So let's put the official shuffle time. That was kind of channeled message that came in first. So I'll mark it as that in the timestamps. Let's mark the shuffling at 2140, okay? So the first area we're going to look at is what is coming up for Scorpio collective in terms of where they're going to be at in 2023. How are they going to be feeling? What energy are they going to be holding? What's going to be their main focus? Just where's Scorpio going to be at in 2023? All right. Okay, now we're going to look at the bag, the finances. What's going to be going on in the money house for Scorpio collective in 2023? Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, North Node, Mercury, Mars, or Pact 8th house. All right. Okay, we definitely have something pretty big going on there, Scorpio. All right, we'll get to that. Some real restructuring needs to happen in the area of finances. What's coming up in the area of communication for Scorpio in 2023? Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, North Node, Mercury, Mars, or loaded 8th house. Okay, interesting. Okay, what's coming up in the home sector for Scorpio in 2023? What's going to be going on in the home sector for Scorpio in 2023? All right. Tell me about romance, creativity, earthly pleasures for Scorpio in 2023. Tell me about romance, creativity, earthly pleasures for Scorpio in 2023. Show me, Spirit, about romance, creativity, and earthly pleasures for Scorpio. Okay. Show me work routine for Scorpio in 2023. What's going to be going on in the day-to-day work and routine? All right. Ooh, big up level there. That looks really good. What's coming on in the area of partnerships, love relationships? All right. That was very fast. There's something that's happening beneath the surface in the area of love relationships, committed relationships. We'll get into that when we get there. Let's see what's coming up in the area of your house, okay? Sex, the occult, death, transformation. What's coming up for Scorpio in the area, okay? Oh, wow. That's an interesting one to come there. Okay. I got an interesting message there for you, Scorpio. What's coming up in the area of travel, expansion, okay? Flew right out of there. You might be doing a lot of flying, flying to different locations in 2023. That came in very strongly. Just the way it flew out of there, it made me think of that, kind of like, I'm flying on out of there. Maybe you're going to take off. You're going to go somewhere to get away from the scene that you just feel like you need an escape from for a bit. Maybe you need some breathing room from. Interesting message to come in. What's coming in the area of career, PR, image, brand? How the public views Scorpio in 2023, especially in relation to their image, their reputation, and their career aspirations. What's coming in for Scorpio in 2023? Okay. Woo. All right. Okay. What's coming in for Scorpio in the area of friends and community in 2023? What's coming up for Scorpio in the area of friends and community in 2023? What's coming up for Scorpio in the area of friends and community in 2023? Spirit, Scorpios. Okay. All right. And finally, show us the karma, the karmic work, everybody's favorite area to deal with. The deep dive into the work. What's coming in for Scorpio in the area of karma? What needs evolution in 2023, as well as hidden enemies, what could work against Scorpio? All right, we've got something coming out there. We'll also do a theme card pull, but I usually leave that to the end because I never know what deck I want to use for that. So lately there's been certain ones coming forward, but we're gonna have some fun here and let it flow organically. All right, 26:28 on the clock, beginning the reading. Let's dive in. Let's see what's coming in, Scorpio. So this is you. And I felt this energy, there's this need to build a bridge, get over it, let it be bridge, water under the bridge. Maybe there's been too much water under the bridge in a particular connection or in a particular situation, an arrangement, something that at one point you were very much invested in. You were definitely planning to go the long haul with this thing, but it didn't quite turn out to be all it was cracked up to be. And in some area, you just found that it didn't hit the mark. I think this is something that's already kind of like coming in for you. I feel like you've been processing it. I do feel like there's a past tie to it. It's something that was kind of like left undone, and maybe you've tried to revisit this. You've tried to see if there was something that could be salvaged, if it could go the next level. And there wasn't this like meeting place. There wasn't this space facilitated for this real kind of growth to happen in this connection or the situation that you found yourself in. I think you weighed up this decision for a while. It wasn't easy for you. You weren't really sure which way to go. It was very hard to let go of it though, because you put a lot of time and energy into it. And at one point you thought, this is it, this is it. And that could be anything from like, this is my person, to this is the home I want to live in. This is where I want to lay down roots, to this is my career path. You go to school, you invest the time and the energy studying for this career. You actually get out there, you start working in it, and you're like, this isn't what I thought it would be. But along the way, it leads you to something that is for you. And there's like this spark lit in you. And so you feel pulled to go in a new direction. But there's kind of like this tug between the head and the heart where it's like, yeah, but I invested all this time and this energy in this other direction. In some cases, even financially, you invested, you invested in the form of education in some cases. For others of you, it was just a huge emotional investment. You really poured your energy into another person because you felt very aligned with them. And maybe there were a lot of promises made about where this thing was going to go, but the reality didn't match up with the fantasy. And you realized along the way, I don't want to settle. I mean, sure, we could probably work it out and, it'd be all right. But there's always going to be that part of me that's going to wonder, what if, what if I didn't settle? What if I held out for what I really want? What if I held out for what really lights me up? And some of you don't know what that is yet. And that's the part that's giving you a little bit of anxiety. Like you're not sure what your direction forward is yet. You've already integrated so much. You've had to let go of so much. There's been a lot of changes that have come into your life over the past year. And it's all been kind of like this whirlwind, it's churned up your waters. It's churned up the emotions. At times it's had you activated. At times it's had you defensive. 30 on the clock when you said that. When you said that. I don't know why I said when you said that. It's so strange. Maybe you said that. Maybe that's something that you had expressed. that you just had felt so like, churned up. And that's, again, that's that piece about that cleansing that I feel like so important. I feel like you've taken on others' energies and they're not yours to take on. And in some cases, you've felt a responsibility to navigate other people's emotional situations. And it's not your job to do that either. You have to let people go through their own healing experiences. Have to let people have their own relationships. You have to allow people to have their own space to do their own processing and grant them that grace to move through their healing processes, their integration on their own timeline. It's not about pushing the river or forcing to fit or having it look like how you think it should look, right? It's this real ability to do like water does and just keep flowing, like don't get stuck, don't get stuck. How does water get stuck? Water gets stuck when we go cold, right? When we get contracted, when we go cold, water can freeze. It can become stuck. Ain't nothing going to move it until it thaws out a little bit, right? So we thaw it out by melting our resistance, not feeling like we have to direct which way the water flows. We can have an intention. I want to heal this connection. I want to grow in this connection. I want to learn from this connection. I want to find the place where we can actually meet. But you don't necessarily get to direct how that flows or what it looks like at the end of the journey. So there's this big process you've been through about letting go, releasing, and also understanding part of that involves you not having so many defenses. Not everybody's out to get you. Not everybody's out to attack you. You don't always have to be on the defense in preparation for somebody to hurt you. And you've discovered how this kind of pushed some things away from you as well. So I think there's been a real weighing out of all of this. But now you're moving towards something that's more aligned with your heart. You're trusting your heart more and you're allowing this to guide you. You're paying more attention to how you're feeling and you're allowing this to guide you. And I really recommend just kind of keep yourself calibrated as you move through 2023, especially in the opening 6 months when you're still holding down that south node, that you do a lot of this regular, be really good about your energy clearing, also your space clearing in your home, smoke cleanse your home. Really give yourself that support as you let go of what was and you move into what will be, which you don't know what it'll be yet, but it promises to be blessed. It was 33 on the clock when I said that. There's helpful people coming in. There's people that will help point you to new directions. They'll lead you down new paths. These are supportive allies. You may even feel some of these people come in and they feel kind of heaven sent. You feel a real spiritual connection. It does lead to new growth on your path. It takes you down roads less traveled. It teaches you something new, but you got to be open to the gifts that want to come in through this experience of really finding your courage. 33 on the clock when I said that. Finding your courage, to just go down the road and have an adventure and see where it leads you. It might be somewhere better than you ever planned for yourself, okay? But I see you doing this. I see you letting stuff be water under the bridge. I see you building a bridge, getting over it, and you're moving forward and you're walking away from something that you invested a lot of time and energy in 2023, and you're kind of moving into 2023 in the preparatory stages of this. More will be revealed to you by the time we hit July when the nodes change and it goes into the north node of Aries and the south node of Libra, where the karma will be balanced out, a new cycle will begin, and we move into that place of the magician and initiating our new cycle and our way forward through tangible intention and action, right? That's when the magic happens. Now, in the area of your finances, there's going to be a tower, okay? And I feel that this is going to be sort of a defining moment on your path. Something happens. It's shocking. Something that was very stable, was a stable structure, kind of comes down. I'm going to turn it upright so you can see it. Is associated with your energy, Scorpio, okay? So something that you thought was built on a strong foundation is crumbling. There might be a need to put in better foundation in terms of your finances. You might need to look at being a little more focused on saving rather than spending. So if you have an issue with, doing, shopping on Amazon, you might want to look at curtailing your spending a little bit and think more in terms of security and building a stable foundation, because I feel like there's going to be some storms that come into your life in 2023 that can kind of shake your foundation a little bit. And if you've been doing too much spending, you're not going to have what you need to dip into to help you ride out those more challenging times. Okay. I also feel that a lot of you will be leaving a job. Those of you who are employed by somebody, I think you're going to, or do freelance work, anything along these lines, you're an independent contractor. I think some things aren't going to work out. This could particularly apply to people who work in the area of construction. I can see this like really strongly. Also, those who are involved in real estate. Maybe something doesn't pan out. Maybe you invest in a home. Maybe you want to flip houses or something like this, but you end up investing in a property that it's a big headache. Okay. It actually ends up being a loss rather than a profit. This is something that's coming in. I also feel that you've been working within a certain field for a pretty solid stretch, and you're bored. You're bored with the way it confines you. It doesn't give you any room to sort of feed the areas of your life that you really want to see grow. But beyond that, you kind of feel like you've hit the ceiling in your particular field. Like, okay, there's no more financial growth here. This is something that's really strongly coming in. And this might be particularly important to you because you want to do some investing in your future. You want to be able to have that home of your own. You want to be able to maybe have a vacation home. You want to have certain things in place. You want to be able to retire and to do so comfortably. So I think you're going to be looking at weakening. Maybe you're be looking at the area. Here's that Mercury retrograde coming in. You're going to look at the areas that are actually weakening your stability. Okay. And I think you're going to call yourself to the mat a bit, and you're going to exercise a little bit more, discipline in the area of finances, and you're going to be looking at shoring up your foundation. But there is something that happens. It's kind of like, it's sort of an unexpected event. It could have to do with having to move. Maybe you unexpectedly have to move, and this also, is a huge expense, or there's some kind of repair that needs to happen around the home. It really sets you back financially. You weren't expecting this. So make sure that, you got an eye on saving. I feel like there's this need to sort of like gather together a little bit of a nest egg. Okay. So when there are those unexpected things, you're not cutting it so close. Right now you're cutting it a little close. You don't want to put yourself in a position where you're buying everything on credit and money you don't have. Okay. Really important. If you don't have the money for it now, don't buy it. Might be really challenging for some of you. I feel like there's some of you that are really fashionistas. You can't help yourself. You want all the things, and you allow yourself to indulge a bit too much. You're going to need to kind of like taper it back. I think this on a deep level. It's nothing new that I'm telling you. I see in the area of communications being held back here. I feel like there's some kind of gridlock going on with communication, and I feel at least for the opening 2 months of 2023, where you're hoping there's going to be communication with somebody, where you've been waiting for a message to come in. Maybe you reached out to somebody and it's just been crickets. There's been no back and forth. You have no idea what's going on. You're trying to find out information. You don't have any information. This could also be some kind of like less than favorable news comes in that has you rethinking everything, maybe calls off some travel plans, changes your mind about moving forward with a relationship. This could be in particular related to a relationship at a distance or a relationship that's developed online. Something here goes south. Something is getting a review. I do feel there's blockages too for the internet to come in. Maybe somebody blocks you online. There's some piece in this where I feel like really those first opening 2 months of 2023, there's some kind of blockage in the area of communication. 40 on the clock when I said that. This is a foundational issue, communication really front and center. I think it's very important that you figure out, how can I clear out these blockages? What can I do to sort of, move things forward. You might have to create the release for yourself first. You might not get to receive communication from another person. This might be very hard. That might be why it's so hard to walk away from a situation, because you haven't gotten the communication you needed. You didn't get the apology you wanted. You didn't get the clarification or the truth that you were hoping for. Sometimes you got to create closure for yourself, Sometimes you got to create closure for yourself. And I think this is also about dropping in with yourself instead of looking for the outside communication. Turn more within, listen more to your own internal voice, tap into your intuition, let your feelings come to the surface, sit with what's uncomfortable, like do the emotional work. And this is where it begins, by kind of reviewing and going within yourself rather than looking for that exchange externally from another person. All right. Then we got in the area of home, security in reverse, 4 Pentacles. All right. Again, I'm telling you, something's going to go on in the relation of your home where there's some kind of unexpected expense, or you have to suddenly move, or maybe you're relocating. Something happens where you need to have extra money. So please pay attention to your foundation. Could be the foundation of your home needs to be looked at. All right. But something's not stable here. If you live in earthquake zone, this is something you want to be mindful of too. Maybe look into, do I need to have some, insurance, some special coverage for the property in case we do run into some kind of challenge, because that could really affect you negatively on a financial level. If there's some kind of disruption in the home that, creates a major financial expense, or if you have to suddenly relocate, or you have to uproot yourself, right? So there's this piece about you got to pay attention to what's going on at the home, and in particular around security. You might also want to put some kind of like security cameras on your property. Maybe you've noticed some kind of suspicious activity in your neighborhood. You're living in a different area now. You're not used to dealing with kind of so much traffic, around your property. There's something to be mindful of here. You might want to do that so you don't have anybody that disrupts your security in that way either. Be on the lookout for this, all right? I also think that there's a piece about needing to find that place where you do really feel secure, where you feel at home, where it's safe for you to just bring your feelings forward, where you feel like you have a say at home, where, you are able to relax, feel at ease, not like you're walking around on eggshells. So security is something that really needs to be focused on the home front in 2023. In the area of romance, earthly pleasures, creativity, I think you're being I think you're finding yourself kind of in a new phase where you're just finding simple pleasures, where it's at for you. You're really focusing on yourself. I see that you're doing a lot of self-care. You're spending time building something for yourself financially. I think you're working on some kind of project. It could be like some kind of independent business project. There's some kind of new beginning you want to see happen here. You might be starting a business. There's sort of like this creative angle to it. I'm noticing all these like flowers and herbs and plant life. So you might be doing something in connection with plants or herbs in relation to this business. You might be creating some kind of like herbal tinctures. Some of you might be working with Ayurveda. Some of you may be, working with plant dyes. This coming in, you're making your own clothing line. Some of you are getting into metaphysical careers, but this is something you find pleasure in. It's a pleasure for you. Like it interests you, it excites you. And I think as you start to explore this, it's kind of some of the things you're bringing in are new to you, but it's like, it's really like stoking your enthusiasm. And as you do this, you're like, wait a minute, I think I could actually turn this into a new career path for me. So there's something that wakes up in this arena. I really feel like you're not as much focused on romance. I think you're in a very stable place. You might already be in a commitment. You might already be in a serious relationship for some of you, or some of you are just really vibing on being single. And so that's why romance is not front and center for you. but I feel like you're in a very abundant phase when it comes to your creativity. Like you're delving into creativity, but you're also seeing how it can become an avenue to increase your finances, and you're finding a lot of pleasure in this. So that's a really cool message to come in. In the area of work and routine, again, here it comes, the Empress. Okay, so you're in this big cycle of really embodying that Taurus North Node energy. I think you're aligning with the work that you're meant to do. You're stepping into your destiny in terms of your career direction. There's something creative about it. There's something about it that's uniquely you. It brings you in your element. You'll be recognized at the top of your game in this field. It allows you to have more freedom. It might be something in relation to the beauty industry too. I'm still picking up this very natural vibe. So you might be making some kind of special beauty products or something that's made with different like herbs and flower essences, things along this line. But I see that it's going to be very abundant for you, and you're going to have this like big glow up in the area of your work and career. I think there's going to be kind of like a spotlight on you. You're going to be drawing some attention. People are going to know that you're the person to see for this thing, okay? And so it gets you in this place where you feel like really back on your game, and it shakes up your routine because nothing is routine anymore. You're kind of done with the routine and slogging through. You need to have a career direction that inspires you. It's something that you would do even if you didn't make any money doing it, because you feel that connected to it. It's that much in alignment with like what's a yes for you. Okay, so I see you really stepping into that in terms of work. Now, in the area of love relationships, I think you're still doing some transformational healing work in relationships. I think it has everything to do with that deep dive into the Scorpio South Node. I think you're still doing karmic clearing. Some of you may need to do clearing because you are already an alchemist. You may be a witch. You may be on some kind of occult path. I have to bring it in. You might have somebody who's been doing some kind of workings, some kind of, love workings, binding workings, or it could be divisory workings in terms of your relationship. You could be experimenting in these areas. I mean, I just got to call it in. It could be either side, all right? Flip flop the energies as need be. This message isn't going to speak to everybody. I also feel like you might have a partner that's open to this, okay? That's open to working with a little bit of sex magic, building the energy together, agreed upon with each other. That's a whole different thing than if you are doing something against somebody's will. If you and your partner want to explore together, this can be very magical, right? But again, this high priestess does tend to be a more solitary energy. So I feel like you're doing a lot of cleansing out like the old. You might be working with some magic. You might be working with some rituals, some cord cutting to just like clear out, X's energy from your sort of storyline so you can start things brand new. It's 48:48 on the clock when I said that. Okay, I think that that's very much a key. You might be working with some moon magic in regard to this. I also feel like you might be doing something in harmony with the lunar cycles. This could be for those of you who are looking to conceive. You might be kind of trying to sync up with the lunar cycles and trying to conceive and have a baby. I also feel like there's something working beneath the surface in the area of love relationships, committed love relationships. And this may have something to do with a question, like you might sense something's off or something feels a little different, but you're not quite sure what it is. So you're exploring this a bit. You're trying to figure it out. There's something here. You're going to be feeling your way through in relationships. I think there is something. You might have some kind of clandestine relationship too. This coming in that you're kind of keeping a secret from people. You don't want prying eyes to know what's going on and create interference here. This could be something that starts out as a clandestine connection because this shows up in the sex, occult, death, and transformation area. All right. So I do feel this piece kind of coming in strongly, like some kind of transformation work through sexuality. I think you really feel a deep connection with somebody. It feels more like a spiritual connection. You may be working on like a tantric level, bringing in a little sex magic, things of this nature. It's coming in very strongly for you, okay? But I also feel like there has been an ending in a significant love relationship that you still need to process and really integrate so you can transform that energy so you can really be open and available to what looks like a true soulmate that's here for you in 2023. All right, area of travel and expansion, you have the moon, okay? So I feel like your travel, your expansion, your spirituality, it's really happening so much on the inner planes. And it's funny because we brought in that flying energy earlier, okay? But I feel like it's an inner travel. There's a lot of like descending down into the subconscious and then rising back up into conscious awareness and doing this integrative work. I also feel like you might be more compelled to go on kind of spiritual journeys. You might want to go and see some different spiritual sites that were historically significant and doing a little travel in this regard. Yet there might be a particular trip you want to go on. You might want to go camping, go out stargazing and just enjoy being around nature and just the quiet of night and really drinking in that expanse of the heavens, getting lost in the cosmos for a while. And this allows you to feel very connected spiritually. There's a need to connect more with that moon, again, that lunar energy, right? Sync up with that. There's something about this, getting really in touch with lunar cycles in 2023 that will be a tremendous balancing point for you, okay? And then in the area of PR, career, image, brand, we do have the King of Pentacles in reverse. This is Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. I am really picking this up as this could be, a business partner that you were involved in that unfortunately maybe they didn't move correct. You kind of got this like a little ding to your public image, your reputation because of your connection or association with this person. This may be a person who was dipping a bit too much into the finances. They were supposed to be a partner, but they were taking a bigger cut. This is also a person who maybe just didn't move correctly. They don't have the best public image. And so since you were kind of working with this person, it affects your public image in a negative way. I think you're going to be working to turn this around. I also feel like there is this piece. We see this piece about the financial stability being rocked in 2023. So I feel like maybe you feel like you tried to launch some things, but they weren't really successful. They kind of fell flat. I think you're going to be working really hard to turn this energy around, build things on a new foundation so you can turn this King of Pentacles energy upright and get back in the driver's seat in terms of what you're building for yourself on a career level. You're going to like restructure your brand, your image, the way you're seen. You want to be seen more reliable, more steady, like you're somebody that can really be counted on and you know what you're doing, you know how to hold it down. So you're doing some revamping in this area. You might even take some business classes. You might be doing a little exploration. You might connect with a mentor. I would say in this case, really take your time. Don't just settle on anybody. You may begin working with somebody as a mentor and be like, they're not it. And then you have to change course, okay? And that could be an earth sign energy. They're not cutting it, okay? Be live to that. And I think that you'll be able to turn it around, but it's going to require some focus for you, okay? In the area of friends and community, again, we have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, okay? So there's something here that needs to be adjusted. There's something here that needs to be turned around. And again, this has to do with like not allowing the wheel to turn. This is like staying stuck in the past. And because there's this like point of stuckness with the past, the wheel can't get to moving forward, okay? And it ends up actually blocking your blessings. So this is really time to get the forward motion going by doing the work that you need to do to just let this past go, clear it out, clear your energy, so you can finally get this to move forward, all right? And you may find that, things just feel like they're in a holding pattern in terms of your friendships. Maybe there's been some kind of difficulties. There's been some kind of falling out. You don't really know, who your people are anymore. You're not seeing any positive, forward motion and connections where there have been challenges. And there's something that needs to be addressed here. I think there's a clearing out of the old energy needs to happen. And maybe not trying to make things move when they're not ready to move. There is this kind of message that just keeps coming through about like letting go, trusting, releasing. But what's really good for you, Scorpio, is if you put the time, the energy in, and you do the work, you'll have your karma balance, okay? You will get to that point where you do rise into that Taurus North node. And it's through knowing your worth, knowing your value, knowing what you bring to the table, and making your choices from this place of clear awareness about, what the past taught you, the lessons you got from the past, really transforming the energy and letting it go, and then resting and knowing that you got it covered. There's this need to kind of like take your hands off of it, release, and just rest more and allow yourself to feel really held. This is beautiful because it shows that there will be a judgment in your favor in areas where you've struggled, but it requires that you let go. You got to relax. You got to stop trying to force things that don't want to be forced, okay? And don't try to force a fit. Let's get an overarching theme energy for you, Scorpio, for 2023. Overarching theme energy for Scorpio in 2023. Overarching theme energy for Scorpio in 2023. Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising. Venus, North Node, Mercury, Mars. Overarching theme for Scorpio in 2023. Overarching theme. All right. You get by with a little help from your friends, all right? And you may find that, it's the men who hold it down more for you, okay, in 2023. It's the brothers that come forward, that got your back. I think that you have like a core group, maybe 3 people that, I'm feeling masculine energy, like men that are really solid, they're loyal, they can hold it down for you, that you can really trust. I think you do have people that can help you, move through 2023. I also think you're making your circle a lot smaller. You want to be really mindful of who you let into your space. 57 on the clock when I said that. So you might be really looking for where's the loyalty. You may have even had some tests of loyalty. And in particular, this might be around the area of love, with love on the bottom here. Maybe you felt there's been some interference, some third party dynamic in your love relationships. For you men out there, you may have felt in the past like you had, one of the guys in your inner circle kind of was a little too friendly with your woman, there's a piece about this, like really questioning the loyalty of the people you allow in. I also think you might find, romance with a friend. Maybe it starts out as a friend. Maybe it's somebody you've been friends with for a while. You never thought it was going to go to that level, and it does. It's like Cupid strikes you with his arrow, and the next thing you know, this person's not normally your type, but you find that you're a perfect match. Well, yeah, we got kin here, okay? Shoot for the moon. You just might hit it. Could be Sagittarius energy with the Sagittarius archetype there. I think this is somebody who feels kindred to you. 33 on the clock. There's definitely some help with the stars aligning for this. And there's the moon energy. Maybe this is the person you want to go and gaze at the heavens.